Okay, while people are coming in, I just want to welcome everybody to the Walla Walla University School of Nursing interest session for our virtual U-Days event today. And thanks for attending this event virtually with us. And we're looking forward to gathering some information about this incredible program here on our campus. My name is Jerry Larson. I'm a recruiter for Marketing and Enrollment Services here. Some of you may have crossed paths with me in the past as I've visited schools all over the country. And I'm just super excited about this opportunity to share a little bit more about Walla Walla, the school that I graduated from and the school that I love. And hopefully you guys will join us in the fall. A couple of things before we turn this over to the School of Nursing. Number one, we will have a Q&A period at the end of this interest session. And you don't have to wait till the end to start asking your questions. Many of them might get answered by the panel as we go through. And if that's the case, then we can just either touch on them again if we need some clarification, or we might even just be able to call them answered by the time we get to the end. So I encourage you to use that feature to your heart's content. The second thing is we do have a closing meeting at the end of this whole thing this evening at 7:00 p.m. If you haven't already registered for that, make sure that you do so that you can jump into that meeting at the end. That's where we're going to be giving out our scholarship money. We're going to be talking about the enrollment process and what we might be doing next and some important things. And there will be a Q&A for general questions at the end of that program as well. So I want to encourage everybody to join us for that program here this evening. And we're about to get going here, and I'm going to turn it over to Carrie Firestone, who's in charge of the School of Nursing program on our College Place campus. And I'll let her introduce the rest of her team. Welcome again.
Hi everyone, I am Carrie Firestone. I'm the Associate Dean for the School of Nursing, and I am joined with 3 of our current nursing students here on our College Place campus. As I say your names, go ahead and unmute yourself and wave hi, or say hi, I guess. First is Kimberly Garrett.
Hello.
And Christine Jackson. And Hannah Lowry.
Hi.
We are excited that you have joined us here virtually, getting a look at our skills lab behind us. We are excited to share with you a little bit about School of Nursing and why we think that you should join us to do nursing here at Walla Walla University. So I'm going to share my screen for a sec, and we are going to go through a few things of, first of all, why do we believe that you should think about nursing, as well as how we prepare you to become a nurse here at our program. It's thinking here, it's not working great. So first of all, when we talk about why be a nurse, many of you are coming in with many different reasons and different backgrounds of why you want to be a nurse. But we think nursing is a great occupation. In fact, it is the fastest growing occupation here in the United States. And nurses make up the backbone in the majority of the healthcare industry. I think now in our current media is a great time to see that, with nurses really being on the front line fighting during this pandemic to care for those that are sick. Most of the time we hear that you want to be a nurse because you want to help other people. That is the #1 reason, is you care about others and you want that opportunity to make a difference in people's lives every single day. Nursing is extremely flexible. Nurses work everywhere, even in places that you wouldn't expect nurses to work. Nurses can work anywhere between hospitals or doctor's offices, long-term care facilities, home health, hospice, but even in places that you wouldn't expect. Nurses work on cruise ships, they work for Fortune 500 companies to help keep the employees healthy. Nurses even work at Disneyland and Disney World. They employ all their medical staff is heavily made up of nurses. So really, when you're a nurse, you'll have options of where you can work. You even can work on ships that travel internationally. Here in the middle is one of our graduates. Her name is Tirza, and she has spent 2 to 3 years traveling across the whole continent. not just continent, the whole world, on something called Mercy Ships, where they go from country to country and provide care to people that can't get care otherwise. As well as we have another graduate, her name is Elena, and she's worked with both ADRA and Doctors Without Borders around the world providing care. And for those of you that like the excitement, you can work in something like trauma or ICU and ER, and you can even work in flight nursing, where your primary job location would be in the air in either helicopters or fixed wing transports. You'll work with the sickest of patients. So this is a scene from an ICU, as well as the smallest of patients. So some of you might be interested in working with children and babies. And you'll have flexibility. Now, we talked about the ability to work in many different locations, but your schedules can be pretty flexible too, ranging from 8 to 12-hour shifts. And when you're working 12-hour shifts, on average, you're working 3 out of 7 days to get to your full-time job. And we just think nursing is a lot of fun because you get to work with all different kinds of people, different ages, and you get to work with other people who truly care about making a difference in people's lives and across the world. So then, how do you get started? Well, first of all, you would have to start by joining us here in the university. As a sophomore, you'll see this room behind us a lot. This is our Nursing Skills Lab. But one of the questions we get the most is, I'm confused. Do I go to College Place or do I go to Portland? And really the big thing to remember is we're one school, one program with 2 campuses. So you'll start your training, your education here on our College Place campus, and your junior and senior years are on our Portland, Oregon campus. We have a comprehensive curriculum, so this is just a sample study plan of what it looks like when you study nursing as a major. And I think we'll probably send this out to you afterwards just so you can get a closer up look. But your first year, in your freshman year, is spent doing things that are preparing you to start the nursing coursework. So you're taking things like anatomy and physiology and human nutrition and psychology and sociology, as well as some things that we call general studies. So some of those other classes like history and humanities and religion, as well as your writing courses. And then your sophomore year is where you would begin the actual nursing program. And yes, you do take nursing classes here on the College Place campus. Your first quarter, you take 2 classes. Your winter and spring is just 1. You can see Intro to Nursing and Fundamentals of Nursing in fall, Health Assessment in the winter, and Pharmacology in the spring. So we really immerse you that first year in learning the basic foundations in nursing and the skills that you need to succeed. You spend a lot of time in our Nursing Skills Lab, and one of the things we like to do for you is when you are a nursing student with us, you have card access into our lab to practice these skills that you're learning. And I'm sure you'll hear more about those skills from our sophomores who are waiting to answer your questions here soon. But we start you from everything from vital signs to learning how to insert catheters, how to give injections, how to work with NG tubes, how to talk with your patients. Believe it or not, it's a skill you need to learn. We just kind of run the whole range of basic nursing. And I would venture to say, and we'll let the sophomores answer in a second, that first year is a lot of fun. We do have a small student to teacher ratio, which means you get more one-on-one attention from the faculty. We want to see you succeed. Nursing can be challenging, but it's our goal to help you succeed and help you get through, because we like to say we're not just teaching you as students, you are our future colleagues. And there's been many times I've worked on a floor or I've worked in places where my past students were my colleagues. And so we're really excited to get you out there and get you to join our profession. As well as we have a high NCLEX pass rate, meaning this is the people that pass the board. That's the big test everyone's gonna take to become a nurse at the end. Our students do well on this test, higher than most colleges and universities and well above the national pass rates. As well as our graduates do really well. In our areas here in Washington and Oregon, our graduates are sought after. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't get a call from some employer asking if we can share with our seniors that they have this job opening. So when you graduate with us, you'll have a job waiting for you. As well as we have some social things. It's not all about learning. We have here on the College Place campus, we have the nursing club to get involved. In Portland, we have both the Honor Society and Portland ASVU, in which these clubs can get together and do things socially and get to know each other and support each other spiritually as well. So, I know it's a lot of information and you probably have a lot of questions for us, but a place that is great to find more information about us is right at www.wallawalla.edu/nursing. There you'll have access to look at what our program looks like. We have a frequently asked question area, as well as you can learn more about the faculty that you'll be learning from. As well as we have a Facebook page if you want to follow along to see what the School of Nursing is up to. And now, questions. I assume you have some questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We'll go back and see what questions we have.
Okay. The very first question that I have here is, this may be a transfer-oriented question, actually. It says, when do you think we will be hearing back about our applications that were due May 1?
Well, since today is May 4, you got to have a little patience with us. We are compiling all the evidence. Our goal is to have those decisions out by mid-May.
Okay. An anonymous attendee asks, can we stay in College Place all 4 years?
Unfortunately, no, because your junior and senior level courses are only offered on our Portland campus. And in reality, it sounds sad to have to leave the College Place campus, and it is. I'm a graduate of this program as myself, and when I left for Portland, I was sad to leave all my College Place friends. But the upside about going to Portland for your clinicals is the availability of experience between 2 level 1 trauma centers, 2 children's hospitals, multiple community hospitals, multiple community health agencies. You really can get a stronger and richer experience in Portland.
Okay, the next question that I have has to do with forensics. It says, if I wanted to become a forensic nurse, should I major in nursing or pre-med?
Well, if you want to be a forensic nurse, you would need to first become a registered nurse. So you would need to major in nursing to become a forensic nurse. And that's a great job, but they do use registered nurses for that.
Okay, great. Do you have to take a test to get into the nursing program?
I could see all the sophomores shaking their head. Yes. So the answer is yes. We have 3 entrance tests that you will take at the end of your freshman year as you prepare to apply for the School of Nursing your sophomore year. And one is a reading test, a writing test, and a critical thinking test.
Do you think maybe the students can provide some maybe personal testimonials about that whole process?
About the exams or the entrance exams?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What are they, like an hour-long exam for each? None of them are too difficult, just the science one.
The critical thinking.
Yeah, critical thinking one.
Yeah. It's math, English, and then the critical thinking.
So you can see they don't have a lot to say because they're important to prove your readiness for the program, but they're not barriers to joining our program. That be fair, students?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. How realistic is it to major in nursing and be a college athlete at Walla Walla? I can help you with this one if you'd like.
I would love that.
So I did used to be the athletic director at Walla Walla University, and so I have a little bit of understanding of this. Because the program shifts to the Portland campus, starting with the third year, then you really are limited to 2 potential years of participation. If you started the program knowing you were going to do nursing, that's all you were doing, and you weren't going to be taking any extra time on the College Place campus, then that's a 2 years, and then really you're kind of finished with that. And that seems like a negative thing, but in reality, there just aren't nursing programs around the country. Even if all of the courses were done in one location, there are just not that many programs, if any at all, that would allow you to continue with a collegiate athletics career beyond that 2-year period of time, because of the way that the clinical experiences and so forth are during that 3rd and 4th year. And so in my experience as a coach and an athletic director, when talking to students who are trying to decide whether to come to Walla Walla or not, the Portland issue was really not an issue for them at all. In fact, they appreciated the possibility that they could even play 2 years, because there are a lot of schools that would actually not recruit nursing majors at all because they wanted to have them for 4 full years.
And we have had quite a few athletes come through our program between volleyball. We've had some golf, we've had some basketball that I'm thinking of just even within the last 5 years. While you're on College Place campus, we make it work. So sometimes your away games can take you away, and so we work one-on-one with you to figure that out.
The next one is, how does the transfer between Portland and Walla Walla work?
It is seamless. So at the end of your sophomore year, and I'm going to have the students chime in here in a second, we start prepping you for that Portland campus transition, meaning you, instead of meeting with your advisor on the College Place campus, you'll meet with a Portland advisor. We set up meetings when we can be face-to-face. We have something called Dinner with the Deans here in the College Place campus, where you get to meet the deans from the Portland campus, because you're already are probably sick of seeing my face, right, ladies? But, and we feed you, and we show you and talk to you all about and set you up to transfer to Portland. And so the transition is just really smooth. In the spring quarter, we start setting you up. You leave for summer, and instead of coming back to College Place for the fall, you start on the Portland campus. Do you guys want to add anything to that? You're kind of in the midst of that right now.
I don't think there's anything to like add.
How do you feel about the transfer? Do you feel?
It feels smooth, like it's not stressful. They make it very simple for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they call you up like if just to like check up on you, so that's pretty cool.
It doesn't look quite the same this year as it would other years, but there's still been contact with like the Hanson Hall Portland campus dean. She's reached out to all of us and we've had video calls with her. I personally have already had my meeting with my Portland campus advisor to schedule my classes for next year. So even through all of this, they've still made lots of effort to make sure that they're available to us and that we still have that connection to make it as seamless a transition as possible.
Okay. Can you explain what a typical day for a nursing student would be?
This is all you girls.
It really depends. We only have class on Thursday, so you have basically the whole week to study. I don't know.
That's just nursing classes though, right?
Oh, yeah, and the labs. You'll have the labs either in the morning or in the afternoon. And it's like, what, 4 hours or something?
It's 4 hours, yeah.
And that's just once a week.
So for your first quarter in nursing for your labs, you're going to spend your whole first quarter in just the lab that you see behind Carrie Firestone there. And then for second quarter, you'll spend the half of the quarter in that lab. And then you'll spend the other half working with actual residents in our long-term care facilities in the Walla Walla area. So you'll either get up in the morning, you better make some friends so you can carpool, get some coffee buddies for after the fact. But you'll get up in the morning, go see your residents and do some cares and practice your skills you're learning. And then if you do the afternoon, you'll just do the same thing. It'll just be in the evening time. They're both 4 hours. It's just a matter of what time of day you're looking at. But you get to start practicing those skills with people. And like Carrie mentioned earlier, doing those, communicating with other people, because that's a huge part of what we're going to be doing here. So that's the best place to practice those sorts of skills too.
And for your clinicals, you're not there by yourself. You always have a clinical instructor there with you as a reference and support, as well as then you're assigned one-on-one to a nurse that is there to help support you as well. So I know that sometimes that can be scary because it sounds like we just kind of throw you out there to the facilities, but we support you as much as we can.
Okay, we have one that is very similar to the athletics question, and it has to do with the honors program. And I'd like you to speak to the possibility that students can be involved in the honors program and do nursing.
So I have not yet seen someone do both sports and the honors program, although I also haven't seen, so this is my 6th year here on this campus, seen someone go through with the honors program, because once you transfer to Portland, those higher, the 300 and 400 level honors courses aren't available. However, that being said, the honors program director and I have been talking about ways that we could make that work, because we would love to see our nurses be able to complete in the honors program. We're not quite there yet, but we are trying to work on it.
This question's specifically about internships, but I'm thinking that's probably more like clinical placements and so forth. The question is, what internships do you get?
So yes, with nursing, it's not like maybe business where there's a specific internship where you spend just a little bit of time out there practicing business. That sounds fine. I'm not a business person, can you tell? So for nursing, you kind of have built-in internships every quarter. So like Christine was saying, in your sophomore year, you'll start here in the lab. So we teach you all the basic skills. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder in the bed, that is Wilfred. He's one of our patient mannequin simulators. He is something that we can use. So when you're in the lab, you're learning on each other, except for catheters. I won't make my usual joke. They're laughing because they know my joke. We actually have models for catheters and NG tubes, but otherwise you're working with another student for things like health assessment, listening to heart and lungs and all of that. Normally, your classmates are 100% normal people. There's no abnormalities in any of their vital signs or assessment findings. So we can simulate with our mannequins abnormal things. So that's one of the internships, is we work with you in our lab between what we would call low fidelity mannequins, virtual reality, and simulation. Then another internship you would get would be our long-term care facilities. That's your kind of first entrance. You have captive patients in wheelchairs. They can't run from you. So you learn health assessment on them. And then you also, in your sophomore year, do a internship in our local community hospital. Once you get to Portland, things open up. So you'll do a whole class and you'll do a, let's see, there's like 240 hours of clinicals each term. So one term you'll focus on family and peds. So you'll be spending your time in obstetrics and gynecology, split with some time in a children's hospital working on peds. You have a whole term in mental health. So you'll spend some time in either some inpatient mental health facilities, maybe some outpatient clinics, some things like that. So a whole term in mental health. And then the last class your junior year is acute care. So you'll spend a whole term in local hospitals in a medical surgical unit. Then when you get to your senior year, it starts again. There's 3, so there's at least 240 hours of internship or clinicals. We call them clinicals in nursing each quarter. One term it'll be in what's called advanced acute. So your time will be spent in the ER, the OR, and the ICUs. There'll be a whole term in a gerontology sort of thing, but it's called chronic. So you'll actually be working in places like with home health agencies and hospice and palliative care agencies. And then your last class, your senior year, with the clinical component is called public health, which is in the spotlight right now with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, but you'll spend a whole entire term, your clinical rotations in, some people will be in public health facilities, outpatient facilities, correctional facilities. We use 2 different jails and a prison, community health clinics, mobile health clinics, so clinics for the homeless where you're in a van going around providing medical care to the homeless. So in nursing, while you don't just do one internship, as you go, as you learn, there are built-in clinical experiences across the whole program. By the time you finish, I believe the total is about almost 1,100 hours of direct clinical experience, which is much more than some other nursing programs out there. We really want to give you that hands-on because that's where you're going to learn the most, is when you're actually out there doing it.
Okay, great. This is a good question. Let's say I have a different major my freshman year, but then my sophomore year, I changed my major to nursing. Would I have to be with the freshman class to get the 48 credits, or would I be with the sophomores?
So this is where it gets confusing, and even for us. So you would be a sophomore by credit by the university standing, but if you weren't eligible to begin nursing, because there are certain courses, those prereqs that have to be completed to be able to start nursing coursework. So for the nursing program, you would still be a pre-nursing major. So we even have seniors by credits by Walla Walla University, but they are freshman nursing or pre-nursing majors because they haven't taken the right courses. So to be eligible for that application for the testing at the end of your freshman year to begin nursing your sophomore year, you have to complete the full series of A&P, human nutrition, general psych, general soc, and your English 121 and 122, plus some general studies to equal those 48 preferred credits. Plus, any of those courses, you can get nothing less than a C, and you got to keep your GPA up above a 2.9 to be eligible. So there's a lot of variables. We don't just look at total number of credits. It's what you have taken to be eligible. So I always say, if you're not sure you're going to take nursing and you're considering other things, but it's one of your options, register for A&P. Register for A&P your first year as your general science, because it will save you a full year. Because if you get through your freshman year and you have taken other classes but you haven't taken A&P, then it sets you back an entire year. So A&P is usually the kicker. So that's my recommendation.
All right, very good. What happens if you do not pass the entrance exams? Do they only pick who performs the best, or is there a standard that everyone must meet or surpass to make it in?
So when you're applying, we give you 2 attempts at every single test, and there is a benchmark. So for your math test, you have to get a certain score. It's 265 or above. For your reading test, and this isn't going to make any sense to you yet, it's 250 or above. And then for your critical thinking, it's a score of 17 or above. But we do give you 2 attempts to pass those exams. And then if by chance you don't, which the majority of people do, we work it with you towards other options of not majors, but other ways that you might be able to enter the nursing program.
Okay, and then you already mentioned the minimum grade point average and all of that. Would you mind explaining the preference that college place students are given into the second year before transfers, and then maybe into the third year before transfers?
Yeah, so when we look at our admissions, which we're in the midst of right now, we give priority to our own student first, which means if you're a current Walla Walla University student and you've completed your prereqs with us, you get what we call a bonus loyalty to WWU score. And so we do give our spots our priority to our own students first. And then if we don't fill a class with just our own students, then we start looking at our transfer applications. And that goes the same for our fall entrance. Not to muddy the waters, we also have a summer entrance, which is an accelerated entrance that typically our transfers apply to, but there are some unique situations that our own students use the summer entrance to enter the program, and that was the other option I was talking about if you don't pass those tests on the first attempt.
Okay, very good. Let's see, this one says, how does the transition of schools work? I think you might have covered this. I don't know if they're talking about transfer students or if they're talking about just campuses from one to the other. Yeah, I don't know if we have a good answer for that question right now.
Yeah, I mean, if it's campuses, we talked, it's a seamless transition. You end 1 year in College Place, we set you up to begin the next in Portland. There's no applications, there's nothing. It's as long as you've taken the classes, which you'll work with your nursing academic advisor to figure out, taken the classes and passed them and passed the nursing. It's just a seamless transition. You just start the fall in a different campus.
Okay, I like this question. What makes your nursing program different than other Adventist colleges and universities besides going to Portland? Like, what makes it stand out?
Because we're awesome. No. I will give a few things, but then I want the students to chime in because they're really the ones in the middle of it right now and what made it stand out for them. But for me, what makes us different is you're going to see statistics all day long about who passes, who finishes, but each school is a little different. And I think what makes Walla Walla unique from other programs is the fact that there isn't one faculty in this department that doesn't want to see you be successful. Our goal is not to weed you out. There's a lot of questions about those entrance tests. Our goal isn't to put barriers to your success. We're not trying to weed you out. We're not trying to set the bar so high that you can't reach it. We have to set the bar to a certain level, but you'll find your faculty giving you a lift up to that level because we really care about you. That's that low faculty to student ratio. You will get to know us whether you like it or not. You see us all the time. We spend a lot of time together. You have access to us even outside the classroom. Even before the Zoom meeting, the four of us were on a FaceTime discussion preparing for this. So you have access to us. We want to see you be successful. We have a great curriculum. It covers all of the important stuff in nursing, but we also have some unique stuff other programs don't have. Sometimes nowadays having a specific PEDS class is somewhat unique. A lot of people are either phasing out either PEDS or OB or making you choose between the two. We give you experience in both. We have a full chronic illness class, which is really where healthcare is going now. It's moving to the community. It's no longer hospital-based. We teach you how to manage that. And we have a whole quarter in public health where you're really out there in those front lines. Again, healthcare system is moving from hospital-based to being more preventative and out there on the front lines, and our program has done a really good job of getting you prepared for that. And again, I just think we have a great caring faculty, a low student ratio, we have good outcomes, and we just like to have fun with you guys. I'm gonna let the students say something because they may have different perspectives than I do.
I think what's really cool about the nursing program at Walla Walla is you get that like firsthand experience of like what a nurse is your sophomore year. And that helps you really decide on if you want to stick with it or not. And I love this. I love the nursing classes. I love the teachers and I love the kids that are in it. It's been such a great experience for me.
Talking about Walla Walla as a whole, it's all of the students are very easy to talk to. And the faculty too, like especially in the nursing department, you say anything and they're like there. They want to help you. So I find it really easy.
They don't want you to fail.
No.
You're going to have a lot of support from your classmates, your staff, like everyone else is saying. It's a very close-knit group. What is there, 49, only 50 of us? It's a very close-knit, smaller class, smaller major as far as the campus goes. I don't attend La Sierra. I don't attend Loma Linda. I can't speak to what those programs can offer you, but I can tell you that if you do choose to go into nursing in Walla Walla, if nursing is something you're passionate about and you want to go into this field, then you're going to be happy in this program.
Okay, real good. Another question here. Does the Portland campus have the same atmosphere as Walla Walla?
Do you mean, I'm wondering, there could be an atmosphere of the teachers and the learning or the dorm. So I'm gonna just take a kind of a general broader view to this answer, and I'm gonna say yes. It has the same atmosphere in the learning, the same, everything that we've been talking about as far as the curriculum. As far as the broader kind of social atmosphere, it is a little more limited. I'm not going to lie in the fact, because you're only going to find nursing majors there. It's not like you have all of the same students that are here on the College Place campus. But within that, there is such a strong bond and a strong connection and strong study groups, social groups, spiritual groups. We have something called Portland ASWU that is very active. They've gone to Portland Trailblazer games, which are basketball if you don't know who they are. They do hikes on Sabbaths. They have a lot of support by the local church there, because they sit right kind of on the same campus as Portland Adventist Medical Center and Sunnyside Adventist Church. So the church sponsors something they've called bread nights, where they come and feed the students in the dorm. So I'm going to say yes, because if we qualify the Walla Walla atmosphere as being close-knit and family and supportive, yes, most definitely. That would be my answer.
Okay, there aren't any open questions yet, so might be a good time right now to kind of give the students the opportunity to maybe fire off one more question if they have it before we move along. We do have probably about 7 or 8 minutes before we're supposed to be wrapping up, so we do have a little bit of time. And before we go, I can just take this one more opportunity to make sure that the visiting students and our participants make sure that you're planning to attend the final Zoom meeting here this evening at 7:00 p.m. That's going to be a fun one and important for you guys to be a part of as well. The question here, so Portland is only a nursing school.
So yes, the only students on our Portland campus currently are nursing students. We have about 120 students, all nursing majors, junior and senior level, as well as we actually have a dorm. And it is our only co-ed dorm that Walla Walla University has. Now that sounds much more progressive than we are. First floor is the males, second floor is females, and there is no stairs in between. But we do actually have our own residence. And yes, currently they are all nursing majors.
All right. Do you get to choose multiple clinicals in nursing? So for instance, trauma, pediatric, et cetera, to see which is a better fit for you?
Yes, each quarter you'll be in a different class with a different theme. So one quarter, again, it'll be Peds or OB. Your senior year, you'll be in advanced acute, which is ER, trauma, ICU experience. So one of the things our program gives you is it lets you try on all of these different clinical areas on first size, and it really gets you to know where you want to be. When I was a nursing student, I was sure that I was going to work with adults, and I've been a pediatric nurse, public health nurse for 26 years. So you learn what you like, what you don't like. I learned my area is not mental health. That's a story for when you come into class. The students are smiling because they probably heard that story, but you get to try all those areas on for size, and that's the beauty of nursing. In my career, I've worked in hospitals, I've worked for hospice, I've worked for public health departments, all over the place, and I didn't have to go back. Yes, I have advanced degrees in nursing, but I didn't have to go get and change my field completely. Once you're a nurse, you can move around within nursing quite easily, so it gives you a lot of options.
Okay, if you're interested in the program but have a, quote, weak stomach, how would you be prepared for the program?
Students, do you have an answer for this?
No.
Well, we'll find out quickly if you have a weak stomach, because one of the first things that we do that usually makes people a little squeamish is we learn to give injections, and we have to practice on each other under very close supervision of the faculty. But that's usually, if we're going to have somebody that's a little weaker in the stomach, that's the first time we pick it up. But you know what? Even students that come in that are a little weaker in the stomach, you toughen up. If it's something you really want to do, you toughen up, you find a way through it. But I will tell you, as nurses, each nurse will tell you the one thing that makes them squeamish in nursing. For me, it's sputum. Spit. Mm-mm. But you can do it.
Good question. That's my question too. What do nursing majors usually take for math?
Stats.
Statistics. Fun class.
Horrible class. What else do we take? Like normal math? I don't remember. I think it's just stats, right?
Just
Intro
stats.
statistics.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. For stats, I would recommend taking it over the summer. I just think it's a little easier.
You have the time to like study for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get the opportunity to take it over the summer, our math faculty is super fantastic. They're always there. They have great office hours, and they're really willing to help you. And stats is a class that they expect people are going to need a lot of help. So if you do end up in a situation where you're struggling with it, don't be afraid to approach your teacher and ask for that assistance you need, or go to the tutoring center.
I think it's important to note also that statistics is not hard because it's hard math.
It's just time consuming.
It's time consuming, and it's
Yeah.
more conceptual and application of different concepts to different circumstances. So it's not like, it's not like having to learn calculus. If you feel like you're one of those people that's maybe struggles with math computation, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be bad at statistics. So anyways.
And I can tell you 100% of our graduates have been successful in statistics. You get the joke? Sorry.
Well played. Does the Portland campus require you to live in the dorm?
So that kind of depends. They follow the university rules about credits, class standing, anyone in the area. So about half of our students, or over half, 2/3 of the students, actually qualify to live in the community and choose to live in an apartment or at home if they live within the Portland metro area. So that kind of just depends on you and where you stand in terms of the university guidelines.
Okay, do I have to have already taken Algebra 2 before I can go into nursing? And I can kind of answer this, I think, from an enrollment standpoint. You can be admitted to Walla Walla University without having taken Algebra 2, but then you have to take the equivalent course here on campus, or you'd have to take it in the summertime before you arrive. That's just one of the courses that is required in order to be admitted under regular circumstances. As far as progressing into the nursing program or saying that you want to be a nursing major while still working on that math requirement, maybe after you've arrived, that's something then I'll turn over to our helpers here.
So you can be working on it, but it will take one of your classes out of your class, so it could set you back by a class, just meaning that your academic advisor may recommend you do a class in the summer to make up for it. Nursing schedule is somewhat tight, unlike some other majors, and there's not a lot of wiggle room for extra classes, but we have worked with students that needed it. It just means maybe you take stats during the summer, which we do offer from the university, or a history or a Bible class to account for those credits. But we work with many students, and they have taken it and been very successful and completed our program in 4 years, plus a summer. So, yeah. I think for me, the bottom line is nursing is fun. It's not a profession where we're serious all the time. So I think the 4 of us are struggling to maintain composure, because sometimes you probably heard medical humor can get kind of dark. So we like to have fun, but we like to learn. And ultimately at the bottom line is we learn together, we laugh together, and we move forward together. So I think we have a great program. Anything to add real quick, students?
Okay. So the next one, is there a reason someone would not be admitted into the program?
The only reasons I've seen someone not be admitted is not having the required cumulative GPA or the required coursework or inability to pass our admission test. Otherwise, as of we're just doing our enrollment for fall right now, but as of right now, we have never turned away one of our own qualified students from our program.
Okay. That might have been our last question, and it's about right on time because we're just about out of time. Would you like to provide some contact information for the students if they want to get a hold of you, or where should they go if they have additional questions later on?
Okay, I'd be happy to give you my contact information. It's pretty easy, and you can find it on the Walla Walla U website as well, but my email address is Carrie, and my name is spelled Kari.Firestone, sounds spelled just like it sounds, at wallawalla.edu. As well as I mentioned before, you can go to our School of Nursing webpage, which is wallawalla.edu/nursing, and you can find information and contact information there as well. We hope that you consider Walla Walla. We would love to see you in the fall. You do meet us as freshmen. You meet with the faculty as advisors, as well as in the nursing club, and we're excited you were here, and we would love, love, love to see you in the fall.